kind of spider are we talking about here?
A big one.
Sting. Thanks to the Regal Mystery Movies, I was able to check this one out a bit early, and this is definitely a weird one. Sting is touting itself as a return to the giant spider genre, popularized by films like 1990's Arachnophobia, or lampooned by 2002's Eight-Legged Freaks, which, for those who are in the know, are takes on the original giant bug movie Them from 1954. Giant spider movies have been around for a very long time, with new ones showing up every few years or so. This movie isn't even the first one out this year with a giant spider being a focal point. Adam Sandler, of all people, gets that credit with his role in the Netflix film Spaceman, directed by Johan Renck, which was out last month. Sting is a very different story, though, being a black comedy horror creature feature bottle movie with a minimal budget and an R rating. I was cautiously optimistic about this one, and I think it ended up just okay. Definitely has a few problems, though, that bother me, so let's break it down. Sting follows the goings-on in a New York condo building during a heavy snowstorm, trapping everyone inside. A small ball crashes through a window, releasing a spider that is found by a rebellious 12-year-old girl who decides to keep it as a pet. But as the spider starts to grow and neighbors and pets start to go missing, only mayhem will follow, with Sting at the center. Right off the bat, you can see where the humor is coming from in the trailers and by the title. Why is a movie about a spider called Sting? Spiders don't sting. They bite. Everyone knows spiders don't have stingers, they have mandibles. And why does the spider make chirping noises in the trailers? Spiders don't make any noises. They don't have vocal cords, which is a plot point in the movie, by the way, because it's an alien, as described right from the beginning before the credits even roll. And the name Sting is a reference to The Hobbit, which is also really weird because that's the name of Bilbo's dagger that kills a spider. But the more well-known Lord of the Rings spider is called Shelob and doesn't show up until Frodo. I don't know. That's a very weird reference to hinge the entire movie off of. So, okay, they call it out in the movie too. They don't call out that it's a weird reference, but she looks at The Hobbit book and goes, I'll call you Sting. And I'm like, that's okay, sure. I guess Sting sounds better than Shelob, but whatever. The whole alien spider thing is also just really bizarre, as Sting herself is modeled off a very specific spider in design, being the Australian redback spider. Probably why the film was in part produced by Screen Australia and used a New Zealand-based workshop for its practical effects. Still a very weird detail, but okay. The film also takes place in New York, so it's weird. It doesn't make a lot of sense that Screen Australia would be doing all of this, but that's a lot of behind the scenes stuff that nobody besides me is really going to care about, so whatever, I'll move on. The actual film is centered around black comedy and exploring the lives of the people living in this condo building, from Charlotte's family with her newborn brother, mother, and stepfather, to her grandma and great aunt in another unit, to a grieving Spanish lady in another, and a very weird college student living in another, and that's it? Really? This multi-floor building and we have a total of 8 people living in it. Okay, that's weird, right? Feels like there should have been a few more people, but maybe the other units are all empty or something. Okay, it's a rundown place, so that works, I guess. Feels like there should have been more people, though, to at least flesh out the body count a bit more. The movie is decently acted, with Elila Brown doing a great job as Charlotte, even if she does have a couple of bad line reads. One in particular was where she was staring down an air vent and just goes, "What the hell?" Like, oh, it was not the best take. Clearly, you couldn't have done that a few more. Come on.
What the hell is going on?
Ryan Coor as her stepfather Ethan does a good enough job cementing the emotional lead of the film, struggling to work and keep his friends and wife happy while beleaguered with responsibilities, being the caretaker of the apartment building and everything else with his work. He's a nice enough guy to get behind. He doesn't act out until pushed and is just pretty much okay. He's a pretty safe, likable protagonist. Charlotte is a bit more out there, being rebellious and strange, keeping a pet spider of all things. So She's a lot of fun to follow, and I'm glad that she's more the focus than Ethan is. The acting all around is pretty solid, and each character delivers at least one solid joke here or there. The sets too are also really well done. It seems like they were all shot on sound stages and built sets, but the film does a really good job of showing that each condo is a similar layout to each other, but also made unique by everyone living in it. So each unit feels distinct yet similar. I really like that, except for one part with the Spanish lady who has multicolored tiles and carpets that are just screaming, hey, she's Spanish. Every Spanish person has this decor. And I'm like, that's frustrating, but that's a trope, I guess. I can already tell she's Spanish. She speaks Spanish. Come on. Later, she's like walking around with a whole pitcher of sangria. And I'm like, okay, I see where we're going with this. Also, the makeup in this movie is phenomenal. It's gross and bloody and sticky with these like green webs and gunk covering everyone and everything that the spider comes across, and one really awesome death scene with great gore. Unfortunately, the film stumbles in other areas pretty damn hard. The practical effects being one of them, sadly, when they aren't focused on makeup, and the story is the other. Sting herself is mostly portrayed through CGI, which looks okay for the most part. Once she's full grown, she's mostly a practical puppet. I love practical effects, and from what I can tell, she was built by New Zealand-based Weta Workshop, and frankly, I'm not sure that they did a very good job with her. And if they did, it did not translate to the screen at all. I say that because we never really get to see the puppet in its full glory. It's always either shrouded in darkness, obscured by glass, or as a close-up of the face and mouth parts. The little we do see of the spider moving practically, it really doesn't look all that convincing, and is during the climax, which is very weird, even in the shadows, and that's a big problem. This is the titular monster. It should be seen much more, even if the larger monstrous form is saved for the climax of the movie. I can't even find pictures of the puppet online, which really doesn't bode well. If anyone else can find pictures, let me know, link me in the comments. I want to see what this thing looks like outside of the shadows. Other than that misstep, we have the story. It's a decent premise with a pretty strong first half that even uses the quote, few days later trope after a cold open to a decent enough payoff. But come the second half of the film, it just feels like the writer ran out of steam and entered into time crunch mode. Too many things happen way too fast, and various plot points are resolved by sheer coincidence and happenstance. Like a character others are looking for just happens to be stashed away in the exact place the other characters run into on a whim. That sure is lucky, huh? I don't like that. It feels way too forced. There's also this weird lean into foreshadowing with incredibly obvious moments of Chekhov's gun that could have been handled way more subtly. I knew exactly how the movie was going to end within the first 10 minutes and exactly how the climax of the film would go. Don't do that! Other moments feel like a whole slew of missed opportunities or the movie blowing its load before they can really get into it. There's only one super gnarly on-screen death that happens particularly early into the film, and it's a fantastic death scene with superb gore and very creepy visuals, but after that, there's hardly anything else on screen. One character that was built up to be incredibly disliked, and the character the audience wants to see get what's coming to them the most, has an off-screen fate that you never see. Unless there's something during or after the credits I admittedly didn't stay to watch, which maybe I should have done, but don't put it in the credits. That's a pain in the ass. Don't build up a secondary, wholly unlikable and nasty character if you're not going to give them a nasty death or deserved fate on screen. Show me. Especially after having a really good on-screen death earlier in the movie. Show it. Top that. Come on, you made me hate them, so let me enjoy what happens to them. Other story issues include the sudden ramp into the third act, which comes out of nowhere, honestly, and the other story beats and plot points that are only used once and never again, like Sting's ability to mimic noises she hears. That's the chirping. It's only used once to lure a character somewhere they knowingly shouldn't go because the plot demands that they do, and then never again. What was the point of the mimicry then? Play with that. Get creative with it. She can mimic so many things. I don't know. Have a character think help is coming only for it to be the spider tricking them, or maybe think that they're being comforted as they're being feasted on. That's ridiculously dark, but it'd be very memorable, I think anyway. Thankfully, the writer and director, Kia Roche Turner, has a good eye for cinematography, but eesh, that writing really needed another go around and expansion. Even the two other unrelated tenants are barely explored, leaving them to be essentially caricatures or body count fodder. You can still play around with them and explore why they're so weird, even if you're going to kill them off or do something else with them. No spoilers, I'm not saying what happens. I really had high hopes for this film, and I still think it was decently made, for the most part, and is a pretty unique entry to a bottle film creature feature, but the lack of exploration with these characters and on-screen violence when the film is already rated R rubs me the wrong way. It does get some points for originality, but it really needed to lean into the wild nature of it even just a little bit more. Maybe if it was longer, closer to 2 hours instead of the 90 minutes, we could have gotten a bit more. Otherwise, I think it's a very safe entry into the genre. It does tease a sequel, so maybe we'll see more if this movie does well. I cautiously recommend it if you like spider movies. I don't know if you should really pay for it or just get it on streaming. I say don't go in expecting much more than a decent, if not slightly lackluster time after the first half. If only this film spun a deeper, more intriguing web, I'd be more entranced with it. Also, oh my god. I just realized, how did I miss this? The girl's name is Charlotte, and it's a spider movie. Oh my god. Why did that take me so long? Especially after it already referenced literature. Oh god damn, I am stupid sometimes. Jesus. Tell me how dumb I am. Oh. Anyway, ultimately, Sting gets a 5.5 out of 10 from me. Hey guys, I am an idiot. How did I just now realize that it was a Charlotte's Web reference? Oh my god, I'm so dumb. I can get everything else and infer all these metaphors, but you throw in an obvious reference to my face and it'll fly over my head like a goddamn dumbass. Holy shit. Nothing more humbling than that, but oh god. Give me a good dark comedy giant spider movie. There's a lot we can do here, and there are so many giant spider movies that come out. Mostly they're schlocky B-movie creature features that I'm never gonna watch or review because no, why would I bother? They're not meant to be taken seriously or be good in any sense of the word. A lot of them are trying to be so bad they are good, and a lot of that times that fails. I feel like a lot of so bad they're good movies can't really be made on purpose. They're usually made with really good intentions and then turn into schlock, and people just enjoy the schlock. I can enjoy a good schlock here or there. What did you guys think of this movie? Are you actually going to go see it? Do you like spiders? Are you arachnophobic and don't want to watch it because of spider, even though you barely see it anyway? And when you do, it's like blurry in the background or is a quick blink and you miss it moment. It's weird. Anyway, let me know about that in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, ring that bell so you don't miss it. I'm excited. Next week's Godzilla vs. Kong. I'm seeing it soon. I'm so excited. Stay tuned for that and have a great day. And if you're not, have a better one. See ya.
I'm just a ghost in your stereo. The fading memory of a shipwreck in the undertow. You're just a lost soul. And I'm just a ghost in your stereo.